Hi, I'm Lucas Adams, and long dream came true, but I'm still pissed off about sports.
Hello, I'm Jordan Melinda. I am a new dad of a 3-year-old baby boy. The Rams are getting a lot better, and I am pissed off.
Hey, this is Pat Booze. I'm living the dream, working for Camo X and Y98, but I still hate the city of Philadelphia. This is the Sandlot crew.
Oh, you didn't know? He shoots! He scores! He could go all the way!
All right, what's happening, boys? Lucas, Jordan, how we doing?
Very good, very good.
Living the dream, man.
Living the dream. We're one man short this week, so by the time this comes out, he's gonna be realizing for the hell he's in for next week. Lucas, anything you want to add towards?
Derek could. I know how wives can be, so I'm not gonna, mess with you too much. But you're in for it next week if you're really down, and I can't wait till then, man.
We hope you are. We hope you are. All right, so opening gate. Let's get things going right here. For those want a little explanation, we are the Sandlot crew. We're basically a ragtag group that just got thrown together, and we're gonna basically do what the Sandlot crew did in the movie: kick the crap out of anybody that comes our way. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, Lucas. Lucas, you're the mastermind behind this whole thing, so you divulge a little bit more.
It's really fun because me and Jordan have been talking about doing something like this after watching Monday after Thursday night, just for what, a year, 2 years now, just watching football games. And, like we want to do this, and we're like, and finally, and Pat, you and I, we don't have to reiterate the story, but how we met. But,
Jordan, did you ever hear this story?
I don't believe I did.
Oh my God! I don't know. If do we have to? Should we?
Long story short, I called Pat out about a wrestling shirt, and Pat was
in the middle of Quick Trip. In the middle of Quick Trip.
I believe I heard
Pat
about
was
this.
Pat was baffled, and long story short, and we're here.
He's leaving out the one minor detail was the fact that he waited for me to come out of the bathroom.
I can see
Quick
that.
Trip.
That sounds like
I was not done talking. I was like he just kind of walked away from me. I'm like, I had more to say to him. So,
I can see you doing that.
And I honestly still say that's like the first time that's ever happened to me. So yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's one way to meet.
This is how this whole podcast came together. It's just off a chance meeting and a random guy waiting for somebody outside a bathroom at Quick Trip at Herculaneum.
Because of his wrestling shirt.
Because of a wrestling shirt. Yes.
Thank you, AJ Styles.
Yes,
You're
yes.
the reason behind all
Yes.
this. All right, opening gate. We're gonna start with random topics that each one of us are kind of bringing. We're bringing 5 topics to the table. We're gonna have 5 different segments. That's how this podcast is pretty much gonna go each week. Only next week it's probably gonna be a little bit longer because we're adding a 4th member because somebody is not here. So opening gate. Lucas, hit me with your first topic.
So I was listening the other day on Colin Howard about him talking about Baker Mayfield and about a video that released of him running away from cops in Oklahoma. And, I defended him as much as possible up until the point. And I think I still do because everybody, makes mistakes. And the kid is, and I say kid because he's 7-8 years younger than us. And I feel like, I see it up until then, I now see a Johnny Manziel aspect of it. And it's just kind of like, I hope for the best, but it's just.
I really hope he doesn't end up like Manziel, in all honesty, because
I don't think so either. But
he's got a lot of talent, but I don't know. It's just this generation of quarterbacks just thinking they're hot shit and entitled, basically.
But I agree, though.
Yeah.
But the one thing about Mayfield, and they've interviewed, because Oklahoma, they were in the college football playoff, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
And that was a tough game. What was it? They ended up playing Georgia, correct? I mean, it was a it was close up, like 52 to 48 or whatever. But Baker Mayfield, if you talk to any of his teammates, he's a great teammate. He's a great friend. Type guy. People make mistakes. You don't hear about them guys that are busts. Was it in that movie with Kevin Costner, and he was sitting there debating about who he wanted to take, and he was talking about the quarterback.
Draft
day.
Yes.
And because we watched it at your house, Jordan, and because you never seen it, I was blown away because
the only time and I have to say that movie is completely 100% BS because no way in hell the Cleveland Browns would ever do something that good. I have to throw that out there first thing.
That's absolutely correct. Like that. No, but that's the thing. When he asked the quarterback, who went to his, none of his teammates went to his party. He had for a 21st birthday party, and none of his teammates went.
But it was a cover up. So
it was
a cover up because
nonetheless,
because things got out of hand, some money got stolen.
Nonetheless,
so
but I see
and you got to wonder how many times that actually does happen at normal colleges.
Yeah, but you have other players that are going to go in the NFL draft also that were saying Mayfield's a great teammate. He's going to be a good and he's a hell of an athlete. I mean, he threw with the last 2 regular season games, it was like 400 or 500 yards per game. Yeah. And it's
he's just got a lot of attitude issues. Like
he's
got the same he's got the same
is.
thing that Manziel had basically with his attitude. Johnny with the money signs, with the money fingers, throwing up the money hands. But Mayfield, he doesn't do that. Instead, he grabs his crotch towards little kids against Kansas and other random things.
T.O., we go to the wrestling aspect. They made a DX video of Baker Mayfield, and it was the coolest damn thing I've ever seen in my life. And it was and they said break it down. It's him cross grabbing and doing the DX chop, and it's awesome as hell.
I will admit though, he had was it Ohio State? He took the Oklahoma flag and planted it in the middle of the field. Was it Ohio State?
I believe
that
it was.
Took some balls.
Yes.
And the reason why
took some balls.
Everybody acts like why he cross grabbed, because who knows what that Kansas player was saying to him whenever that happened. Yeah. And the reason he didn't shake his hand. Correct. It was Kansas.
Yeah, it was Kansas. They didn't shake hands before the game. The little kids didn't even do it. He was trying to be cordial about it, trying to be nice, and he went to shake hands to the little kids that were there. They didn't do it. The Kansas players didn't do it, and it just kind of set the tempo. Okay, this is what that's kind of game that's going to be. This is how it's going to be. Fine. And he took it personally. He took that 100% personally, and probably made a big decision that could affect his draft stock. In all honesty.
But have you heard the recent news about Baker Mayfield? We're sitting here comparing him to Johnny Manziel. He just recently got seen on video running from the police.
From after.
I think he just eliminated first round status there.
How long ago was it?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That's the issue. Like when did it when did it happen, and how it just.
Because the whole thing that brings up another interesting point too with Matty when Matty Malk got busted with doing the coke line. Yeah. That video came out. There was a lot of question. How long ago was that? It still didn't matter. It's just the fact that he's breaking the law.
Yes.
And got caught on video. So
agreed.
That's a big no-no right there.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan, hit me with your opening gate.
All right. Well, I was gonna want to hit on the NFL or MLB free agency
or lack thereof.
Lack thereof. That is correct. It has been very slow. Obviously, teams are approaching this differently.
Who's still a free agent out there? Like big names free agent. I know there's a lot of big names, but give me a couple of names. Who is out there still?
Well, let's see here. We got Jose Batista. He is still out there.
Oh my God.
Jason
Joey
Field.
Bats.
Yeah, from Washington. He's out there right now. A big bat. John Lackey. Speaking of a couple pitchers, some high-end pitchers that are still out there. Jake Arrieta. All right, we got Lance Lynn. He is still sitting out there. You guys.
We're the start of spring training. We're the start of spring training, and these guys are still free agents. I don't get it.
What's the deal? I thought Lynn was going to the National. I thought that was like a lot.
Heard something about that.
I heard something about that too, but I don't know if I think that might have fell through. There was probably a differential between numbers between two sides.
I love Lance Lynn.
I hate to see him go.
The man throws way too many pitches, but he's a good pitcher. You know what?
He's got that aggressiveness he tries that the Cardinals are missing.
And my dad was
He's also been one of the most consistent starters we've had in the last 4 or 5 years.
And he pitches mean.
What, 1 or 2 years ago when he had the entire year?
Yeah, because of Tommy
John.
John.
The only time out of almost a decade? Well, like,
maybe if that,
Yeah.
like maybe a couple years short of a
Yeah.
decade, but still at the same time, it's like, how can you let him walk?
Yes.
I don't know what's going through Mo's head. I don't know what the organization is just thinking right now. They're thinking that they're going to be able to move on, and there's so many questions right now with the rotation as is. I know we're not supposed to talk about the rotation right now. We're talking about free agency, but for a second, the rotation is so up in the air right now for the Cardinals. Why wouldn't you go out and get Arrieta? Why? I mean, granted, he was a former Cub, and I refer to him as Jake Arriola, but that's another story. At the same time, why not get Arrieta? Why not get Lynn? Help out the rotation. They have the money, they just don't want to spend it. And I think a lot of teams are going through this whole thing where, like, well, we're trying to be cautious and we're not trying to overspend on players and stuff like that. And at the same time, I think they're really gearing up for something for 2019 because of all the names that are actually supposed to hit for next year. That's going to be interesting for next year.
Yes, we do have a lot of bats
what
that
was
are in 2019.
Was it Bryce Harper?
what was that? I just seen this
Manny
morning.
Machado.
First or second game that Washington had in the spring training. After the games, Harper was not taking any questions that had to do with after the season. And they were talking about what he was going to do. And he goes, if you're not talking about what we're doing in spring training or this upcoming season, I don't want to take any other questions.
He's like, if I get any questions,
yeah,
I will walk right out that door.
No, what do you say? He goes, you want to talk about next season? He goes, talk to Scott? Or is it
Scott Boras?
Yeah. He was talking, and I was like, it's...
Scott
that's a
Boras.
question,
Scott
though.
Boras is a guy that doesn't take a lot of gruff from ownership and management and stuff like that. He's the kind of guy that will just like lay it out there. If it doesn't work out the way he wants it, he'll see you later. He'll go talk to somebody else.
Yeah, he always gets the high-end guys, and he's used to getting those big, long contracts.
It kind of reminds me of Drew Rosenhausen back in the 90s for the NFL when he's representing guys like T.O. T.O.'s doing his workout in the middle of his middle of his driveway.
Yep, with no
and,
shirt,
and Rosenhausen's like answering questions for him.
And he's just sitting there benching away.
But you don't see. But the thing is, Rosenhausen's the kind of guy that does that kind of stuff on television and stuff like that. He makes appearances. You don't see Boras as much. You just hear about Boras more than anything.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, who do you think the Cardinals should sign out of those free agents, like the bat wise and pitcher wise? Because I know Lucas, I already know you're calling Lance Lynn. That's a given.
Well, I mean, I would like
The facial expressions. He's just like, oh man, he called me out on it already.
I would like to see Arrieta come in here. I mean, he has been a dominant pitcher. He's been in Cy Young runnings.
For a
You know,
discount.
I mean, I don't know if he's going to get what he is
He ain't
asking
gonna
for.
get a discount. There's no
But
way.
I like the way he pitches. He pitches mean. I mean, we need something like that in our rotation. We got our young guys that are coming up, and they got some power behind them, and they're some pretty good pitchers.
We need consistency more than
Well,
anything.
yeah, we
That's
need
the number
a
one thing.
We need a proven position pitcher.
We need someone that'll go past 6, maybe 7 innings
Badly,
because
yes.
this bullpen is going to get depleted. And the fact is, we don't even have a freaking closer at this point.
No, they're playing it by committee. That's what they're doing right now.
And remember when Boston did that, about 6-7 years ago?
Yeah.
Boston had a closer by committee, and it blew up within the first month and a half. This is before they got Papelbon.
Yes.
It blew up in their face,
Right up-
and they
yeah,
led
yeah.
the league in blown saves.
does.
It does not work.
You can't just run your bullpen and just expect it 4 or 5 guys to just be, it's your setup and closer the entire time. It's just not, you can't do that.
Who would you guys have to say? Who should we put in our closer position right now?
That's on the team or somebody that we should
That's
sign.
somebody that we have signed already.
If anything, I say Mott.
Well,
He's
they
the
signed
only-
Mott to a minor league deal.
yeah,
actually,
We'll just see how it ends up.
It's
They
like
need to see
he's
what
the
he can
only
do.
one. He's the only one I think that has the ability and that has been there before.
He has.
In that closer spot. But then again, Molina is pushing, and he's pushing hard for Sam Tuivailala
Yes.
to be the closer.
Yeah.
So I think if Molina is convinced, I'm not going against experience when it comes to Yachty. Yachty's the man. Yachty knows what he's talking about. But here's the thing: he has to get past Matheny, and we all know how much of a stubborn jackass Mike Matheny really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, my turn. Opening gate. So, Lucas, you and I have talked about this part. what's going on with Patrick Clark, Velveteen Dream in NXT, his shoot tweets he's put out there, basically bashing the indies, saying that the indie guys that are coming taking spots at the Performance Center. And Jordan, I know you're not completely familiar with the Performance Center, and they put on this. It was FCW before, now it's become NXT. They're putting on these weekly shows and they have 3 champions: the women's champion, heavyweight champion, and the tag team champions, and I guess you can count the UK championship being. I think it usually gets defended more in NXT more than anywhere else and anywhere on the network. But he puts out these 2 cryptic tweets, basically just bashing indie guys, and you can't tell if it's a work or if it's a shoot. Now, the first one, it seemed like a shoot. The article that comes out on WWE.com made it seem more like a work than anything, and then he puts out another one saying, "Oh, everybody thinks I'm joking around or I'm not really serious. I hate the indies." He's going up against, and the thing is, he's saying he hate indie guys. He's got guys like Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Killian Dane, all these guys that are a lot bigger than him, or some of them are bigger than him, but guys that hold more weight than Velveteen Dream or Patrick Clark the name does. What do you think, Luke? Like, you think he's he's making the right decision here, calling out indie guys, or what?
He's not. Okay, so what I'm assuming how they have the Performance Center set up is that, like, the guys that go through there, the legit Velveteen Dream. How old is he? He can't be over 22, 23 years old.
He's a young dude.
Yeah.
He was like one of the most standout guys from Tough Enough. And I think the reason why they gave him the Velveteen Dream gimmick in the first place was because he kind of like got this massive ego before he'd ever even had a chance to be in the ring.
Well,
and that's their punishment, but he's running with it though.
Yeah.
And he's making it work. He's killing it down in NXT. Yes. But he's got to compete with guys from the Undisputed Era. He's got to compete with guys from Sanity. And he's upset that he's not getting the chances on the network specials, on takeover specials. And I get that, but here's the thing.
Well, okay, to add on to that, don't you think, like, give it, what, 2 weeks to a month? Sanity ought to be. I mean, why aren't they bumped up to the main roster by
It'll probably be a night after WrestleMania call up. I think there's a lot of guys that are going to get called up after Mania, and it's going to be mainly, I think the main group that's going to get called up, Sanity and AOP for sure. Those 2 groups will get called up 100%.
They do call ups, Jordan. They also do firings too. Okay. So yeah.
And the thing too with Dream, it's just I don't get. Okay, here's my take on the whole thing with the homegrown talent having complaints against them bringing in indie guys. If they were good enough to make NXT float by themselves, they would be able to do it, but they can't. There's a reason why
ex-WWE guys and WCW guys, Rhino, when they'll throw guys that will come in and help and enhance these talents, and it's just because, and you're totally correct. If it wasn't for the guys that would come in from out, it's
the thing was
you can't make toast without
The Baron Corbin is a main example of that. I was not a fan of Baron Corbin at all because what he was doing before he got called up to SmackDown, he was having these matches and the fans were counting the amount of seconds the match would take, and it would barely last 15 seconds because they were not convinced he could put on a decent enough match. He had a takeover match against Rhino, and it went 15 minutes, and he actually did good enough to where they started to trust him. I became a fan of Baron Corbin with that match against Rhino. He actually proved he could wrestle for a long enough time. Do I think he's a world champion? No.
That's like, I know what you mean. That's a whole argument where they say, Hogan could never wrestle, but you watch them old Japanese tapes and him against, who's Macho, man, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
IWGP tape, and you never be like, that's Hulk Hogan doing, Insecurity, and it's like, what? Get out of here.
Hulk Hogan pretty much having
right before when he went on his big WWE run, he would go over to Japan, and these them guys, Flair, Arn Anderson. Hell, I mean, the guys in the NWO would love to go to Japan because they make a lot of money. I just actually watched a video the other night. It was Hall and Nash talking about that they did merchandise sales in Japan, and they sold like $5 million in a day and a half of merch. And that's like they had it in their contracts to be able to like pocket that stuff. And they're like, get the hell out. He goes, we're selling leather jackets for $300. I go, holy shit. Like, look at Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes. Them guys, we can go away from, WWE and still be mailing.
Cody's making a killing over in New Japan.
He's
Cody has improved a lot, not only in the ring, but on the mic. But at the same time, he's also, I don't see him really going back to WWE for a long time because he's doing a hell of a job.
I never thought Jeff Jarrett would be inducted to WWE Hall of Fame.
That whole thing is a surprise myself.
He held up, one night at a pay-per-view that he held up McMahon for $400,000 unless he went out. He had to pay him $300,000 or $400,000 to go out and do his match before he was walked out of WCW.
Wow. That's we're getting off topic a little bit here. Let's
roll.
Let's keep going. Let's go to the next segment. Jordan, what's on your mind, man?
Cardinal baseball, man. I'm excited for the season to get on its way. And these first couple preseason games have been quite interesting, seeing these young guys come up and do their job, and seeing some of the guys from last year coming back up here and doing their thing. Paul DeYoung, he's coming back up, or he's staying up here. Hopefully, he does his thing this year. With the addition of Marcell Ozuna, I think that's huge. He's the number one left fielder in MLB. And then with Tommy Pham moving to center and Dexter Fowler moving over to right, it's just
not to cut you off. Starting Tommy Pham in center field, about fucking time. Come on.
Okay.
It's just I'm not stopping.
No,
man.
you're good.
He's getting his chance. You never know. He might end up being an all-star, and it's just letting these guys actually go, and it's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this the make or break for Matheny?
I don't believe it is. With these coaches that he brought in this year, it is. With Mike Maddox, with bringing Jose Oquendo back, and all these players
trying to save his ass.
I don't think it was him that brought it in. I believe it was. It was Mozeliak. He brought him in because he thought. He thought Matheny needed help because Matheny wasn't doing the right things at the right time.
I agree.
But with bringing Jose Oquendo back, all these players are like, he is helping me in so many ways. He's bringing all this positivity, and he's bringing all this hard work and all this different ethnic ways to do this. And, with bringing up Willie McGee to help everybody bat, that is huge.
To add to your Jose Oquendo, we were in the bottom half of the base running in all of Major Leagues.
Yeah.
In the past, 2 years, because and a lot of it had to attribute because Oquendo was not there, and it's just
And you hear Matt Carpenter saying that, and Colton Wong, they're saying this is the best thing that's happened to him so far.
Our two worst base runners.
Yeah, but if you look at it, Matt Carpenter, I think, was number 4 in runs scored.
Yeah.
Over the past 3 years. So.
And then what was he last season? Like number 1 in most thrown out at each base, basically.
Yeah. I don't know what he was doing last year with running the bases. I don't know if he couldn't see the ball well, or if he was getting wrong signs from the coaches, or if you know how they look over their shoulder when that ball's hit and they're running around second. You know how that goes. But like they're saying, Brian, bringing in Jose, that they're gonna that they're base running and hitting and everything's gonna go good.
Well, we switched our the first base coach. Who did that was that wasn't McKay. That was Mahoney.
Mahoney.
Yeah, McKay's been gone for a couple seasons now.
Mahoney.
See, the thing is, my take on it, I think, in all honesty, this is a make or break year for Matheny. If we are sub 500 come the All-Star break, Mike Matheny will be out of a job.
I agree.
What about his new contract?
In all honesty,
didn't they give Jeff Fisher like the greatest contract in the world whenever they went to?
We're talking about that in another subject.
Hold on, before you get to the Rams. Before we get to the Rams, that's going to be another segment. Wait a little bit longer on that one, Lucas. Come on.
But in my opinion, I don't think this is his make or break year. He just brought in these coaches, and I'm pretty sure Mozeliak has got it to him that Mike Maddox is going to definitely run the pitching staff. But that has been the worst thing.
Matheny's Achilles heel for the last. Ever since he first came in, he doesn't know. For a guy that was a former catcher, he doesn't know how to handle a pitching staff. He doesn't know how to handle the bullpen.
Correct.
Maddox does.
Maddox
I think, in all honesty, if we are sub 500. In all honesty, I think Matheny is out of a job because the team, by this point, it's just going to be academic with the amount of crap that Matheny has thrown out there, and the fact that he's throwing players under the bus, he's lost the locker room. He lost the locker rooms last season. This is Matheny's swan song, basically. It's got to be his year to prove something, and he's got a lot of adversity going right now because the Cubs have bolstered their roster. The Brewers are up there. We're projected to sit third place, if not fourth place, in the division.
Central is the biggest, one of the biggest.
But it's also a joke.
Divisions.
It's also a joke that the fact
baseball
that we're
right now.
there at 4, and but Pat, you're not wrong. You're not. I can see coming because we expect excellence, and that's what we get. And my dad would always say that the '70s were horrible, and because we were a losing franchise, and I remember growing up as a kid, we had Mark McGuire, we didn't have winning teams. We would.
I can see where you're going with this because he's staring at me right now. The Whitey Herzog bobblehead staring a hole right through my head right now.
What were the ass end or were the ass end of the millennial cut off? And I grew up hating Tony La Russa, but watching him win 2 right before we left, and it was just kind of like why do you only want 1? But he got there a lot.
No, he got 2. Whitey. I thought you were talking about Tony. I was like,
Tony got 2.
no, Tony got 2.
I have a lot more respect for Tony nowadays.
But
all right,
growing up,
yeah.
Lucas, tell me what's on your mind, my friend.
The NFL draft. I want to know what's going to happen this year.
It's a crapshoot. In all honesty,
just another quarterback draft.
Okay, and I'm gonna call this now.
there's at least 3 or 4 good quarterbacks that will go in the first round for sure.
How many?
Baker Mayfield will not be one of them.
How many?
Okay,
Maybe they've got it wrong this whole time. Maybe they should take 2 quarterbacks in the first round.
I'm going to add on to what Pat.
Just joking.
I'm going to add on to what Pat put on Facebook about the most garbage quarterback ever. Got the most garbage, big deal ever, and it's Blake Bortles also did go what was it 75, 76, 77% between touchdown and interception that year prior to the past 2 garbage years. But I'm telling you what, if the 49ers have a good draft this year, they're going to compete with the Rams, and it's going to be them two. It's going to be like the old, West Coast battle.
They still need to put people around Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G is the future
legit.
of that organization.
Bill Belichick did not want to get rid of Jimmy G up there, and
I heard opposite. I heard Phil Kraft did not want to get rid of him.
You mean Robert Kraft?
It was the opposite. Bob Kraft.
Oh, yeah,
Robert Kraft.
It was the other way around.
Show some respect to the man. Come on.
Belichick didn't want to get rid of him. Kraft is, Kraft was, right? He would.
And it wasn't just Kraft; it was Brady too. Brady kind of wanted to get rid of him too because Brady wants to be there for a while.
How would you say Kraft? Kraft is very loyal. Brady's won 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah,
you're going to stay loyal to that guy, and he's took pay cut after pay cut. He got paid, then pay cut. It's just you can't hate on him. So I like the Pats, but I still hate him. It's like it's.
I always have that deep grudge for him.
What?
Still hate him. I'm sitting right here. Come on.
I'm just saying it's.
Let's just say me and Lucas were both
always
screaming for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
Oh, yes. I'm so glad I was not here for that. I would have been throwing you.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. I've been throwing you guys. I've been throwing you guys out to the front freaking window. Sorry, Lucas, but it's the truth.
But the NFL draft should be very interesting this year. Can't wait to see who takes who. But yes, like you said, for the 49ers.
The kid from Penn State, I think, is going to end up being Rookie of the Year.
The running back?
Yeah, the running back,
What's his name? Pull it up.
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
That's not Bradley. It's That's it. Damn it. Braveheart.
But yeah, like I said, they're gonna have to put people around Jimmy G. I mean, obviously he went in there and went 5-0. I mean, he came in there and just he lightened up what they needed. They needed a quarterback, obviously.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I think Barkley's going to end up being Rookie of the Year for sure.
Is that the one that was breaking? He does them like Barry Sanders.
If he doesn't get injured, and you got to see where he goes. Is he going to have an O-line? Is he going to have a top quarterback? Is he going to have some receiver?
I remember we were in high school, man.
Frisco, man. I think the only thing Frisco really was missing last year was a receiving game because they didn't have that much of receivers. And shit, if they would have got Garoppolo at the beginning of the year, There's a possibility we could have seen
He won
Frisco
6 in a
versus
row.
New England.
He won 6 in a row. 6 in a row, right?
5 in a row, I
thought he won
think.
5 in a row.
5 or 6. One,
I
two.
It was
know,
one of the two.
because he got traded late.
But they
Yeah.
showed
After week
I
10.
watched his highlight tape, and it was like the beginning. The minute they
He's never lost a start either.
no,
That's
No,
crazy.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
He's
and,
Even though he's only started like 7 or 8 games.
And you know, I hate patting the douchebag on the back, but Belichick, Kobe Brissett didn't have a bad time out in Indy either. He's gonna find a decent job. I mean, they draft good, decent.
He was
they
just
know
in
how
a
to do
bad,
it.
like, the whole thing
It was a
with
bad
Jacoby
team,
Brissett, he
but
was
it's
just in a bad situation with a bad team, and Pagano was on his way out, and the whole thing with Luck, too. It's just like, God.
I feel so sorry for Luke.
Me too.
For Luck.
Yeah. All right, moving on. What's on my mind? XFL to STL, man. I wouldn't mind.
Interesting, fellas.
I would not mind seeing some football back in the city of St. Louis. I know a lot of people are not too keen on football coming back, but it's a 2-year window before the season starts. Do you think we could get a football team with Vince McMahon ownership in the city of St. Louis?
Possibility. I've seen in the top 10 cities for possible teams. St. Louis was, I think, I'm gonna say 8 or 9. They were in the top 10. So, but your big markets are gonna have teams. They can share stadiums. You cut deals with anybody. Money's money.
I don't know if they're gonna be able to cut deals
Deals
with the NFL. That'll be
No, they said
Yeah.
they want no ties related to the NFL at all. They want to be their own thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Then
you
people
think-
need to start building some stadiums. Then, if we're
I mean, you
gonna,
think about it, though.
they're planning on having
These
8 teams
8
to
teams.
start.
There's not one here.
8 teams. You got to think 8 teams.
2 years.
Why would you
Technically
not
2 years
target?
because it's not going to start until right after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
And on
That's
top
when
of-
the season
and
would
what-
start.
What was I saying last night when we were setting up this little, ragtag little shop?
you gotta give yourself enough credit. Yeah, you did a good job on it.
Well, I was
For
second,
about
I was
almost
second
2 hours of work, this ain't
I
bad.
was second guessing myself. I was just coming downstairs with stuff and looks like, and Jordan's like, I put carpet down here and everything. No, it
like home.
was crazy. Is that McMahon's ties with Trump? I mean that if he gets reelected.
And remember,
and
Trump was also in charge of the that defunct American Football League, or was
USFL.
yeah,
He was
yeah,
part of the,
USFL. That's what it was. He was in charge of that, or he had a team, and he had a stake in that some way or another. I mean, granted, it folded after 1 year,
yeah.
but he could get a Trump involved with that, and bringing up a bad topic you're trying to with Trump getting reelected. I mean.
Yeah, let's
Let's avoid that subject altogether, Lucas, because the last thing we want people to actually listen to this podcast, not turn it off with your Trump rhetoric.
try and keep that out as far
But-
as possible.
I've
Back-
been
but-
no
but-
politics, no politics, and no old ladies.
If
So-
we had an XFL team, are they gonna do with the same team names that they did from the last time?
Rough
what was
Riders.
it, the
He
Rough
doesn't want
Riders, the
anything
Outlaws,
related.
and whatnot? It's not gonna be
Well,
anything
They
related.
said they don't want anything related from the last time.
Well, I
So-
seen- I
They
seen-
put
so-
the XFL together in
what
6
team?
months last time.
What would our team name be?
Well, ESPN did
I don't know.
a projected 5 or 10 year NFL thing from 5 years from now, and then they went from that year 5 to 10, and they said they called it St. Louis Stallions. I like that name. I like that it was a blue and white team with a kind of a horse, but a different type than Denver though. It was a little bit different. So 'cause the Broncos, same pretty
Yeah.
much aspect. So
I mean, you just got to think though. You got to target. They're going to target the cities
don't-
that just lost their NFL teams.
also
Why
don't-
would you not?
I also
They're
but
football hungry.
I mean,
they're gonna-
beat Oakland.
San
They're gonna
Diego,
beat Oakland.
San
They'll beat
Diego
Oakland.
would probably be number one on
They'll
that
beat
list.
Oakland.
San
San
Diego,
Diego.
Yeah.
Oakland.
Yeah.
I would
St.
go after
Louis.
St. Louis.
I would
Maybe
go
hit a
after
couple cities that have maybe big soccer stadiums.
Oklahoma
that you
City.
could do something in there.
Do we put an Oklahoma City team? Maybe one in Nebraska, beat Omaha. I'm being serious. They packed. No, okay.
The middle of nowhere,
Hey,
Nebraska.
you guys laugh about it, but they packed them. Them small arenas for
I bet.
for indoor football.
Yeah.
For the what was it? The AFL. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's my little nephew talks about it all the time that that they pack 5,000-10,000 people in there. What's
Yeah,
the
but
stretch that they
5,000-10,000 people's not going to matter much when you got teams pulling in 70 to 80,000 people, though.
Right.
I get that though, but you know what? How many people are getting? How many ratings did the NFL lose this season?
A lot, fair enough, a fair amount.
Give it time, man.
Yeah.
All great things fall.
I wouldn't be if we don't get a team right off maybe if they can go past 1 year, because the track record with only lasting a season, when they do an expansion team, maybe in the second or third year, then we get a team. In all honesty,
Yeah,
if
I mean,
not,
he's
if we're
only
not,
picking 8 cities at first.
yeah. And
you know.
the fact is, we're like ranked 9th, and as much as we are homers, not everybody outside of St. Louis actually likes the city of St. Louis.
Yeah, it's true.
It's the weirdest thing. The national media has a grind against us, and this is something that I definitely want to hit on at another time. But the national media just does not like the city of St. Louis, and I don't get why, and it sucks. So, speaking of grinding gears, Jordan, I know for a fact what you're about to talk about. Grinding gears, what's pissing you off, Jordan? Hit me with it with your Rams rhetoric.
Well, man, I used to be a diehard Rams fan.
As you're wearing an Oakland Raiders hat as we speak.
Yes, I have transferred over to the soon-to-be Vegas Raiders. But no, man, the Rams.
Vegas beast mode.
It's what upsets me is that the Rams and Stan Kroenke, the man that I really despise and hate with all passion, I think he purposely kept Jeff Fisher around here and kept us losing, have a losing record, and he waited until he got the opportunity to leave, go to a better market where he knew he was going to make more money when he is already a multi-billionaire.
Here's the thing that I don't get about Stan Kroenke is just how someone can say, "Oh, I'm only in it to make money, not to win championships." That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It is, but look at the man. Just look at him how he talks. Look at him how he looks when he
It's
gets
the
interviewed.
mustache that makes me just want to punch him in the mouth.
Yeah, he has that face where you just want to rearrange it. You know what I'm saying? But he waited for get that opportunity to leave St. Louis and go to L.A. He fires Fisher, hires McVay, who is the coach of the year, and then he started to sign players of position that we needed. Finally, we got some wide receivers. We got that veteran O lineman, Whitworth, I believe his name was. We picked up Sammy Watkins and drafted a couple really good wide receivers.
Robert Woods.
Trades like that in the middle
Robert
of the season.
Woods
Early in the
was
season.
freaking amazing,
He
and
was
I'm
good.
saying that because he actually killed it on my fantasy team. So
Yeah. And Sammy Watkins talking about a resurrecting, a possible bust.
I think he needed to get out of Buffalo.
He needed a change of environment.
But he's also a free agent. He only signed a 1-year deal with the Rams, so he's currently a free agent right now.
Well, he also put up big numbers last year too, so them guys want to get paid. There's no loyalty.
They won the division last year. They were in the playoffs and got knocked out. But you still got the Seahawks right behind them. If honestly,
I think the Seahawks are on a decline when you really think
Oh
about
yeah,
it.
they got some big defensive players that possibly could be moving teams.
And
because
having
of
to
free
do with
agency.
massive contracts
And big
too,
contracts,
so.
and they're getting older, hitting like Richard Sherman. I think he's 29, 30 years old. He's getting up there. He's a
What's
top
the shelf
corner.
life? What's the shelf life in the NFL?
For a
22,
corner?
22, 30 in general. I mean, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
So
But they got the upcoming 49ers
Very few
behind
people like Tom Brady make it to 40 in the NFL,
I agree.
them. Right.
and that's
You
just
gotta
because
keep a good old line for him.
because Brady's the GOAT.
You got the 49ers coming up right behind them. They just, as we all talked about earlier, that they just picked up Jimmy Garoppolo, who destroyed it for him his first 5 starts. And now we got to wait to see what they do in the draft, and the Rams see what the Rams do in the draft, and see if the Rams can continue to hold that division.
I grew up hating Frisco, man. I grew up hating Frisco. I grew up
Same here.
hating the rest of the NFC West, except for the Rams. And since they moved, everybody thinks I'm nuts because I can't stand the Rams now. I can't stand the fact that they win.
I can't get up.
It's hard
I can't-
watching.
I can't get
It's
mad at
hard
you for doing
watching
that.
it.
I can't
It
be-
feels like there's still a knife in my back from
Yes.
the way the Rams
But-
left the city of St. Louis, and I bleed St. Louis pride.
Yes.
But Pat, I totally agree with you. But our knives are still there, but we still like love the fact that they win. I'm like me and Jordan.
still
have
watch
said-
the games.
I know. I
It's
still,
sad.
I still
I can't do it.
still-
I
it's
can't
like
do
they
it, man.
purposely
It's
It's-
broadcasted
I
in
sit
St.
there,
Louis.
yes, I sit there and watch them and actually root for them, because those are the guys.
What's
I
even
sat and
more
watched and
amazing
watched
too is the
them
fact that our
drafted.
ratings in St. Louis still get better ratings than
Yes.
they do out
and
in
it's
LA.
Like, and it's dude, like it hits deep because I watch these guys get drafted. We watch them in spring training, but and then, it's just like, it hurts because our kids will never see football.
Yeah.
They won't.
Also, I
We
mean,
won't
they
see
just
NFL
keep
football.
signing people that they need. I mean, now
I
they're
know.
finally starting to sign.
Exactly.
big
It's-
free
it's
agents.
because they were
leaders.
they were in purposely tanking, and the thing is, that's against the rules in the NFL. But
I don't think
because
they were purposely
be-
tanking.
you don't think they were?
I don't think
Hell
so.
yeah.
They
In
kept
the-
Fisher.
oh,
and to
come
confuse
on.
all
The
of
players,
them.
Come
the players
on.
play, the
The
players play.
reason,
The
the
players
only
play, but
reason,
it's no.
Jeff Fisher even admitted that when Kroenke first brought him in, he asked him about his experience moving the team from Houston
Houston
to
to
Tennessee. He knew all about moving a team.
Yeah.
That's the only reason he brought Fisher in.
And fire him next year.
Well,
He waited a year,
He
yeah.
waited a year after he made all the money and just put out a completely crappy product. And the thing is, I think, in all honesty, they meant to tank because they knew it would bring nobody out to watch them, and it give them all the more reason why to leave.
We still can.
This
We did so
fans.
we still
I went to a couple. I went to their.
I only went to
game of the
one.
season.
I only went to
We went to
one
two
regular
that
season
last
game
season.
my
I went to
entire
three.
life.
Yeah.
My
No,
entire
you
life, I only went to
we
one
two
regular
together,
season
though.
game.
I know that.
And I'm ashamed of that fact. I was only able to go to one regular season game my
I'm
entire
talking
life.
Like, me
Damn.
and Jordan would have tickets, and then we would just go we would go down and down and down,
Yeah.
and we had a blast. I mean, there
They
wasn't. It
still-
wasn't
tickets
the
were
Dome
always
was-
more
the Dome wasn't
expensive.
popping.
Those
The Dome was
tickets
not
were a
popping.
hell
But
of
you
a
know
lot
what?
more
It was
expensive
fun.
than they are for like hockey and fucking baseball, man.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? I remember the ticket, one regular season ticket I got, it was like $60, and
Yeah.
we were sitting way up top.
Yeah,
I
we would always. I would always
$60
get, like, free-
at Bush would
Yeah.
get you lower spot,
Yeah.
like along the first base side. $60 at Scott Trade would get you almost near the fucking ass.
I'm not even commenting about this. So. I don't think I paid for an actual ball game, and that's like.
It almost sounds like this is like what's grinding my gears at the same time too.
Yeah,
But still, Lucas, hit me with your what's pissing you off, and I know there's a lot of things that piss off the mind of Lucas.
So baseball is wanting to change the fact. Okay, let's put it this way: baseball wants to change a perfect game, and the stupid.
They're trying to speed up the game in all sense, and
You know what?
it's because of the stupid
Not everybody's
millennials.
going to pitch like Mark Burley. Not everybody's going to be a Woody Williams. That's going to do a an hour, 45 minutes, 2 hour game. Or Chris Carpenter was quick like that too. So and it's just kind of not everybody's like that, and that makes it. That's what makes it special when you go to a ball game and you're there for 4 or 5 hours. I was there. I've done plenty of games like that where it's a 13, 14, 15th inning game, and
free baseball.
now they're
man.
wanting
free
to put-
baseball. Nothing wrong with that.
that's and now they're wanting to put
Next thing you know, they're going to
Man.
bring in ties after the
Yes.
ninth, after the
Yes.
ninth or 10th inning. If there's no one winning, they're going to tie. I
Well,
guarantee you that's how that's going to be the next thing they're going to speed up.
well what was it we do at Game Time? It's one runner on second and one out.
In 1 out. Yeah.
That's not baseball.
What's
Now
that?
they're- now they're
What'd you
wanting
call
to-
that? California rule?
Yes, that's what they call it. Now they have now Manfred's wanting to do if you're I don't know if you're down or if it's just it's a tie game in the ninth inning. Both teams have an at bat.
No, I think
Your
it's if
best
you're
three-
losing.
Is it losing?
They're not gonna do it if you're tied, because why would you give them an
nonetheless,
advantage?
man. That's the best part about your 7-8. Your 6, 7, 8, 9, or
Yeah.
hitters coming through, and you have a pinch hit at bat, and you push through and you win the game. That takes away from the aspect, and okay. Back in 04, hell, the Cardinals might have won a damn World Series. But in the bottom of the ninth when we're down 3 or 4 to the Red Sox, hell yeah, I'd rather have Pujols, Walker, then Roland, in a row in the ninth inning. And instead
Even though
of
none of them really did squat during that whole series.
Walker was the only one that actually contributed.
Yeah.
That's a different story, different time. That's the best baseball.
That was before
that's-
Pools became Pool.
that is the
Really
best-
became
that was the
Pujols
best
and
Cardinal team
Mr.
I've
October.
ever seen assembled ever in my life. I went there. I
Was it
seen
Reggie Sanders?
Reggie Sanders, Larry Walker, Scott Rowland, Jim Evans,
Oh, man.
Pujols, and you had Mike Matheny behind the plate. Fernando Vina was there, and our pitchers were just. And
Lights out.
Matt Morrison is like right in his prime. And Matt Morris wasn't a great pitcher, but and then we have Woody Williams and Chris Carpenter.
I think Morris
Carpenter
was a
Carpenter
good
won Cy
pitcher.
Young that year.
Morris
And
was
that's-
like one of the most underrated Cardinal pitchers of all time. In
he
all
let
honesty.
a lot of shit. He was a basket case, but nonetheless, we also had Ankiel, so.
Talk about basket case. There's the definition of a basket case. All right, what's been pissing me off? How about Philadelphia fans, man? I've never been more disgusted with being a fan of any kind of
Everybody
sport.
knew.
Huh?
Everybody knew how it would just be, you know.
How bad it would be. And the thing is,
That's like
the only
Chicago
time
fans,
the
man.
only
What-
time you do that kind of stuff is when your team loses.
Do you have a New York tie? Do you like the New York team? Are you a Giants fan?
No.
Okay. I was like, why the Eagles? Like, they hate Cowboys fan.
Because they beat because of the beating of the
messing with you,
Patriots.
Pat.
This is the beating of the Patriots in the Super Bowl. But here's the thing. It's not just how bad the city is when they win, apparently. We win this damn Super Bowl. We're going to trash our own city. They throw batteries at players, for Christ's sake, as
They
you're
went nuts.
messing with the microphone. Come on. Got to quit hitting that.
They went nuts.
Yeah, they went absolutely bad shit. No, horse shit crazy because there's stupid idiots eating horse shit in the streets. They're greasing up the poles of the freaking traffic stops so they don't climb them, but they're still climbing them anyway. They climb on top of an awning. The awning crashes. They burned their own asshole, basically. I don't understand how you can do that when you win. I mean,
They
I
just
get
went
it.
nuts. It was
I
their
get
first
it.
Super
I
Bowl
get it
and-
with Vancouver when they lost in the Stanley Cup Finals a number of years ago. The city of Vancouver went absolutely apeshit because they lost to Boston. That's a reason why to get pissed off. But to really tear up your own city, even though you win, just makes no sense. And I think it's just because the city of Philadelphia I refer to as Trashadelphia because the city is pure trash. And it wasn't just their them winning the Super Bowl. It wasn't just the way they celebrated with that. Either one of you see the video against Minnesota? The videos of the fans from Minnesota like walking into Lincoln Financial Field, they're getting stuff thrown at them.
Oh yes.
They're like, who does that kind of crap?
They're so
They're
ignorant.
just bad fans. They're the worst type of fans in the history of sports. In all honesty, I blame the entire city of Philadelphia. And granted, I got nothing against the Flyers. Flyers, they're okay to me. You know, Broad Street Bullies of the 70s, I thought were like just that documentary I watched on them is just freaking amazing. But Philadelphia Phillies fans and Eagles fans, just pure trash of human beings. Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong here?
You got it.
I'm getting no response from Lucas at this
It's
point.
what, no, it's, I'm here. Sorry. So I tried to do Facebook Live part, and it's nobody can hear anything through my phone. But it's not. That's not the point. So somebody called me out on my shit. So I proved the point.
I mean,
that was-
come on, am I right or wrong
No.
with the Philadelphia fans just being pure trash?
Yeah, I mean,
They're a
it's,
little out of hand, man.
I mean, it's. I feel like you grew up here in Missouri all your life, right? Mm-hmm. You were taught to be I mean, when I played ball, you got your ass kicked. You shook somebody's hand, and that's cool. You talk trash prior,
somewhat
but-
respectable at least.
But watching Chicago fans, which are where I thought were bad, Philadelphia fans are horrible. And it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, New York fans are just as bad too.
I've never seen many New York fans. I know
'Cause
New
New
York
York's
fans, they
like
give
20 times
players
the
and stuff
size.
like that. Yeah.
Hey man, they got two teams, man. They shouldn't be unhappy about anything.
Well,
Two football teams. Come
They got
on,
two
man.
football teams, two baseball teams. Technically, they have two hockey teams. The Sabres, or three hockey teams. The Sabres, the Islanders, and the Rangers.
And how many basketball teams?
As far as I know, one. Well,
New
Brooklyn Nets, the New York
Knicks.
Knicks. I think that's it. They got two sports for
All four of the major sports.
two teams for all four
But
major sports.
you gotta
That's
understand,
ridiculous.
though, New York City's like
Sure, man.
what St. Louis is. New York's legit 20 times the size, and they have that many more people. So you can root for them. And then, if the Mets have in town, 3 or 4 million fans. I mean, who are we to tell them they can't have another baseball team? I mean, and it's that many Yankee fans, like more than they are,
Yeah.
and it's like it's one of the type deals.
Yeah.
It's just so now, and I'm this is coming from a Cardinal fan that's and back to
Believes in the Cardinal way. Believes in the
back-
Cardinal way.
it's- Dude, there really is, like, people don't understand. There's a fucking Cardinal way. There really is. You bust your ass out on the field. You don't get in papers, and you don't have any backlash to anything except for the Post-Dispatch saying you sucked ass last night. That's it. And you never, I mean, except for McGuire with the steroids, it's like they expect that. And I think that Matheny's really, really pressing that, and that's why we're getting passed on people. We had Stanton. If we had any other, if we had any other manager, we had Stanton. We had Stanton. Because you don't want to know why? Because if you're any kind of outsider, who is like in the top 5 like Cardinal teams? Outsiders like you are, football, NHL or NBA, anything outside. Cardinals are like the top 5 just being the fans and like the rich history that we're here.
Yep.
And the Cardinals are that damn fucking good. Pardon my language. It's just like, and I feel like Matheny's not that, man. We need like, a Joe Girardi-esque, like more of a laid back, just like, not everything has to be exactly what you stuck up your head Tony Lewis's ass, 10 years prior. I'm not, that's my issue. So, and I think that's until it happens. I think until Matheny leaves, we're not going to be a winning team.
So you blame all the bad plays on the coach?
No.
I can see.
No,
No, hold on.
A lot of decisions.
I can see where Lucas is coming from on that because honestly, with recent events, the way the last couple of seasons going.
Not to cut you off. I love my Cardinals. I hope they win. I'm just telling you that's my. I mean, like that's.
No. I know what you're saying. The thing. What I'm saying is, I agree with you because recent events, the way things have gone the last number of seasons, it's got to do with 2 things: Mozeliak, the way he runs the organization, and the way Matheny coaches on the field. And Matheny proved that when he lost the locker room last season, when he went on and called Yachty out, and Yachty had to answer back on Instagram. Are you freaking kidding me? And I know you're not the biggest LaRusso fan, Lucas. I understand that. I understand. He's not for everybody, but that kind of crap never happened. Granted, Tony ran out Ozzy.
I agree.
He ran Ozzy out of town.
No. LaRusso, I gained a lot more respect after realizing that LaRusso got 2 world championships here. Waddy got 1. I get that. Waddy balls that was the way I was taught to play baseball growing up. Hit the ball hard, run it first. You're going to get on base. If even if you're pitching, there's a lot different to it. And I have a lot more respect with LaRusso. There's a lot of things that I don't like about LaRusso. That's the reason why. But nonetheless, Matheny is just a totally different. I feel like he tries to be, and he presses too hard, and he just makes the wrong decision.
He's not a good situation.
And exactly. Okay, he got pushed out because Molina was right there in 04. And Matheny was the starting catcher whenever we were playing the Red Sox in the World Series. Mm-hmm. And LaRusso put him in. No big deal. You think Matheny's going to do that to any guy that he has a relationship with? That, that guy's better for the job?
You're one of Matheny's boys. That'll never happen.
Yeah. That Matheny always has his boys. That's what you can tell. Okay. Any closer, any reliever, he just leaves him in, or bring him in the next night after he blew a 2-run lead the night prior, and it's just, you're kidding me. Mujica, Franklin,
he drained Bowman too.
Rosenthal,
used him so much.
God, Segris, Manis,
Bowman looked like a starter out there.
Bowman was a legit and I feel like he's doing it. He's going to do it to Weaver too. It's just I know, but. And
he doesn't know. Everybody's so upset. He's not a good situational manager. He doesn't know how to work a pitching staff.
But look at the help he has now.
I understand.
Yes.
I hope. You know what? If we're going into to the All-Star break with a second in the Central, no, he doesn't deserve to lose his job. Well, let him play it out. Because the Cubs are going to be good.
I think we just we kind of got off track a little bit, and I think we turned the big discussion, what was supposed to be segment 4, into Cardinal baseball. So, I mean, you guys want to just roll with it, we can just keep going with this. It's not a problem.
It became very passionate because we're getting older, and it's not. We grew up. Cardinals win. What do we do?
Always
we fucking win. We fucking win.
2
We
World
win.
Series.
We win, and we do win
To the Red Sox.
True. And Rangers.
We won the
Pat,
Rangers.
there is a ball.
We won against the Rangers.
Pat,
That's what I'm saying.
You said we lost, though.
No, I was saying the ones that we won. We won the 2.
Pat, there is a ball here right
One
in
against
front of
the
me.
Rangers.
No, the Red Sox.
That game 6 though, that was the greatest thing ever.
Oh my
in
God.
2011.
Oh my God.
That's one of the best like baseball.
I'll never forget
baseball
Joe Buck.
moments
I'll
ever.
never forget where I was at the entire time.
That is like equivalent, like the David Freese. The
Yep.
David Freese walk off
We
was equivalent of
will see
David Ortiz.
Tomorrow night.
No, the David Ortiz when they were down 3-0 and came back and hit the home run. And we'll see you. We'll see you later today or later tonight.
Yeah.
And like because it was so late. And, like,
and
we'll see
it
you
was,
later
and you
tonight.
know that you know the
That
thing
is
was,
equivalent. I
and it's a
feel like-
tribute. That was a tribute to his old man.
Yes.
because a Kirby Puckett
Yes.
was in '94 or '95, Minnesota hitting that walk-off home run against Atlanta, and he goes, "We will
91,
see."
91 to 92.
It was
Yes, I know
90, yeah,
what you
91,
mean.
92.
Yes.
It was. We will see you tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And
It's,
there's no better
No.
than Jack.
And I was
Joe's good, but Jack's better.
Agreed.
I sat, dude. I went to bed when they were up. What was it? 11-7, 11-8. When they were going in the 9th.
Yeah.
I went to bed, and I'm like, I'm not gonna watch another World Series loss because I sat through 04, man. All four. Okay, the 2004 Cardinals are the best. Okay, in July, the 2004 Cardinals would have taken any team I've ever seen ever in the history of
There's
baseball.
a reason why they
Hands
were
down,
called
they
the
would have
new
taken the best.
Murderers Row. There's a reason why they were called the new Murderers Row.
Because they had Jim Evans, Larry Walker, Albert Pujols, Edgar Renteria,
Scott
with Scott Rowland,
Fernando Vina.
Fernando Vina, and they had Reggie. No, was Reggie there? Tony Womack.
Tony
I
Womack was
believe.
there.
And
Ronnie
they were
Cedeno.
like-
Ronnie Cedeno was there
Ronnie
too.
Cedeno.
Yeah.
Was it Renteria in that same
Renteria,
time?
Yeah, Renteria,
Renteria?
because Renteria was the one that
Mabry was
grounded
on the
out
be- Mabry was on the
and
bench,
grounded
and
out
they
to end
had,
the game to Folk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, like,
Yep.
okay, you had Larry Walker, Jim Evans, Scott Rowland, and then Albert Pujols. Them four,
The
and Larry
heart
Walker
of
was
that
still contributing
lineup was
almost.
just
that
it
was-
just went nowhere in the series.
And
It's
the only-
dumbfounding.
and like we were talking about, the only person that contributed was Larry Walker, and it was dumbfounding because I think it was because I think Carpenter got hurt because Chris Carpenter won the Cy Young that year too, and we had a Williams, Matt Morris. I want to say maybe we had one of the Beneses maybe in the
Probably.
bullpen, and we had
Izzy.
Tashira. It was
So Taguchi.
Sotaguchi. No, Taguchi was off the bench. I'm trying to think
Yeah, he
about
was on-
pitchers. But man, that was hands down the best baseball team I've ever seen because the year prior I watched Woody Williams, the best baseball game I've ever seen in my life. I watched Woody Williams take a no hitter into 8 2/3 of an inning, and it was 2-3-0. We were a bad team in 03. That was the year Pujols should have won his first MVP. I mean, he was El Hombre was on it. I've never seen a better baseball player in my life than Albert Pujols, hands down. The many times, and like just the way the ball was going with the bat, and that's a different story. But Woody took it deep, and I'm like, if this is our fourth guy, and we go into next season, we actually do this well, we're gonna be something, And that was just kind of a 06. Everybody actually like, oh, we stumbled in the playoffs. No. Lewis had his team. He just wanted calculated, and on top of that, I can't take anything away from him. Except he's just kind of a weird dude. He just kind of is a weird dude. He's just why in the hell?
excited for
Okay,
this
okay,
upcoming
okay.
season.
Why? Okay, Jordan, you have the bottom of the 7th. You have 1 out, and then you got a lefty come up. You're gonna put a lefty reliever. Or you got him out. You got 2 right-handers. All right, righty. Right now. Mm-hmm. Oh, here you got him out. Righty. Right now. What the?
I think
I
that
never
will be
understood. I never
changed.
understood that, Pat. I never got that, ever. Why in the hell he would do that? Like 3 relievers in 1 inning.
Yeah.
For 3 different batters.
Yes. That's I think my issue.
Like I said, he's not the situational manager that he's supposed to be. And you think he would get better over time, but he hasn't. He's gotten actually worse in a lot of the ways.
And you got to think of how his coaches were beforehand. Were they even giving him any advice? What were they doing? Was he taking full command and just not letting them do their job? You know what I'm saying? Because then you got to think every team has a full staff like this. So not every team has their head coach run exactly every part of their department.
I mean, Derek Lilliquist probably wasn't the greatest choice as a pitching coach, but you can only blame Lilliquist so much, and it's supposed to be Matheny in charge. He's supposed to be the commander of the ship.
Yes.
And when you're just making dumb mental mistakes as a coach, and you're screwing your own players, and causing your bullpen to get completely depleted because you don't know how to manage your own staff. And I get it. Wainwright, he can't make it through the lineup more than once. Neither could Waka.
No.
The only ones that were consistent last year were Lynn and C-Mart.
Well, I wouldn't say
Martinez
Martin. C-Mart's fine. He's one of the best pitchers in like all baseball. But I thought Waka had more of a rebound season last year than I expected.
And he had a couple of great games.
He had a rebound from that Tommy John, correct? And it's
I don't think he had Tommy John.
Yeah.
Who?
Waka.
No.
Waka Carpenter did it. I'm almost positive.
Wayno did.
I'm sorry, not Carpenter. Wayno and Waka did.
No, I don't think
I don't
Waka
think
did.
Waka.
I'm almost.
I think he
Pretty
might have had.
positive.
I think he might have had shoulder surgery, but I don't think.
I think shoulder
Tommy
surgery
John's.
was no.
It was
because
rotator cuff. I think it was rotator cuff. It was rotator cuff.
Okay.
It wasn't Tommy
I was
John.
gonna say because they go for more the elbow, because if you rebound from an elbow surgery, especially Tommy John, you're better off coming up, and bouncing back to how you were.
And I think what really depleted the team last year also was Reyes going down in spring training.
Oh, you're kidding? No, I mean that's not.
He was
That
such
was-
a high hope, and
And
but hey, he's coming back
it's
this
like
year.
one of those things. Well, yeah, but they're going to ease him along.
That's how you do it, though.
There were so high hopes that he was going to be the new staff ace. It was going to be him versus C-Mart going for the top spot, going for the ace role in the rotation, and then boom, Tommy John surgery. His elbow's done for the rest of the season. So
I have to raise this, question. And Dylan Harvey, Kyle Harvey, this is for you. How much are we still, recuperating from not having fucking Oscar? He was supposed to be the guy.
I mean, look at our outfield right now.
I get that, but we spent a lot of money.
I understand that.
Oscar would
He was
still
a
be
big.
low.
He was going to be a big part of this franchise.
he was going to be the future of the franchise.
Man. He was, Pools was on his way
And
out.
the thing
they
is,
brought-
and you and I kind of got into a bit of a spat on this one because, honestly, when I said too soon, you kind of got like, oh, it's been 4 years, man. Yeah, it's been 4 years, but it's still
I get that,
not any
yeah.
less any
Yeah.
less hard to deal with. It's a young talent taken away way too quick that had the world ahead of him, and he was the future of an entire franchise. And one bad mistake, and it all goes to shit.
Go a little too fast.
Right.
Drink a little bit too much. It was raining. Apparently, I'm guessing that's how the Camaro was. He was just driving too fast out in Mexico. And it was raining and just spun out. And
I think it was in the DR.
correct?
I was in the DR, Dominican Republic.
Yeah. No, he was in the Camaro and was just driving too fast. Yeah. Kind of like it's just like a guy from Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Walker.
But Paul Walker. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think Paul was drunk though. Yeah, Paul
You guys
Walker.
are kings down there, man, and you can't you. And what's like they said back with baseball, and I felt like this would be like a more of a fill in the spot. I'm really surprised my nephew posted about this on Facebook or made a comment. I don't know why the Cardinals didn't go after any other big names like Jose Altuve or even maybe seeing what Martinez wanted. I mean, even when we're shopping around, we know because we got.
JD Martinez. I don't know. JD Martinez. I don't think he's worth he's asking for $200 million.
He's a DH, correct? That's what he was aiming for.
He was aiming for American League money, but I don't think he would have been. He's not worth the $200 million that he thinks he is. And the thing is too, Boston had a long time dealing with trying to recover from what happened with Tony C. If you ever heard that story, Tony C was supposed to be one of the best young players in baseball. Takes a high fast one to the face and breaks his orbital bone, and he loses partial sight in his eye.
That's crazy. We had a coach in high school. Actually, came around. He was one of my baseball coaches. Shout out to Brad Hagedorn. Coach Hagedorn was he played for Arkansas, and he was getting looked at from I want to believe, if I remember, it was the Rockies, the Cubs, I'm going to say at the time the Expos, and he was in play. It was a rec, kind of like just a scouting type game, and he took a high fast one right to the face, and SEC champion coming up, starting team, and bam, Mel playing his face, head, and
The thing is, Boston took a hit with that.
Yeah.
And the thing, I mean, granted, no, Tony didn't die, but still, he was supposed to be the face of the Red Sox for a number of seasons.
Yeah.
That was taken away from the whole team.
I heard.
And that's basically what Oscar was. Oscar was going to be the face of this franchise for
Miami.
a number of years. Gone.
Yeah. Miami, Fernandez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, he would have probably left because of free agency or been traded,
Still,
just because how Miami
He
is,
was one
but
of the best.
still.
He was so that was Fernandez down there. It's King Felix is up in Seattle, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I'd love to have him, dude. It's one of them back in 09. It's one of them type of guys who just look great in color red.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, Mom's calling. For those that don't know, it's the call for the last segment for this podcast.
Wait, I don't hear her. Oh man!
And when she calls you by your middle name, your ass better be running.
No,
Just saying. All right, Jordan, you go first. Mom's calling.
Well, my final topic of the day is these Blues. I'm going to go ahead and talk about these Blues, man. They are currently on a 4-game losing streak.
Tanking, I don't know. They're not tanking. They're just going downhill and downhill fast.
We're looking soft, man. I don't know what's going on. We can't even get in the zone during the power plays. Our top guys are not performing like top guys. I don't know what's going on with that. Tarasenko, he's had 2 goals in 54 games in the power play. What's wrong with that, man? He's supposed to be our sniper. He's supposed to be our shooter. We got him out there on all opportunities. Braden Shen has been a big asset to this team. We've added him, and you should put a C on his shirt, in my opinion, of how he plays. But the Blues, man, I don't know what's going on. They need to get it together. I don't know if Mike Yo's losing the locker room. I don't think he is. I just think his guys are not performing how they should be. With the Carter Hutton killing it, and
which
not these
in a
past
sense
couple
he's
games.
not really killing it now.
Yeah.
Not now, yes, as I was saying, and then you got Allen, who you have
production
under contract for the next, I believe, 3 or 4 years, and you have Carter Hutton, who is going to be a free agent after this year. So you got some big decisions to make here, because Carter is rather good. I do like him in goal.
Do you think he's a starter though? Do you think he's the kind of goalie that's going to average at least 50 starts a year?
It just depends who you got. Right now, I don't know. Like I said, you have Allen under contract for the next 3 or 4 years. You paid him to be the starter, and he wasn't performing. And then you got the backup Carter Hutton coming in, and he's going 9-1 or whatever, what he was doing on his big win streak he had. And you couldn't put Allen back in because Carter was doing it, and you were riding the hot hand.
I don't want to cut you off, man, but is it back down to just the Blues need another coaching change? Is Yo going too much off?
I don't think it's the coaching change. I just think
why is the inconsistency?
The inconsistency is because they lost too much during the offseason with Reeves. I think Ryan Reeves was probably the heart and soul of the entire team.
You have to have a guy in the locker room.
You have to have a physical guy on the team, and I think we were sold on a bad bill of goods when they announced not only they were trading him, but they also signing Thorburn. They said Thorburn's going to be a smaller version of Reeves. He's just as scrappy. He can go. He can be the kind of guy that defends your teammates and stuff like that.
Hence why he went with Crosby.
Yeah.
He didn't do any of that. No. Thorburn did not do any of that, and he has not lived up to what. And maybe it's just me saying being a huge Reeves mark, to the point where, no one's going to be able to take Ryan Reeves' spot. No, it's not just that. It's the fact we don't have a physical presence out there. We're not hitting anybody. We're looking soft. We're lackadaisical, trying to get into the zone. How many times in the last number of weeks have we let up a shorthanded goal?
Too many.
Too damn many. We got one. There was one today against Nashville.
Nashville, they're Nashville. Their crowd is insane. They're loud the entire game.
Hell, hockey town.
Even the game last week, Blues were up 3-0 going into the third period, and the fans were just still into it. The Blues are loud too, but their fans rally them right back into it.
Even though they do that whole stupid chant, it's all your fault. It's all your fault.
It baffles me. But you know what? Tennessee doesn't have any pro teams, and they're back on their and they
Titans.
Maybe a couple years.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
There's a certain quarterback in there that would probably take offense to that. Mariota.
Oh,
and
no,
his
no.
backfield
There's a reason
would
he
have
went number two
issues.
now. There's a reason he went number 2, not number 1. DeMarco Murray's good though.
Don't forget they also took out Kansas City in the first round of the playoffs this past year.
They did.
But they got their asses handed to them by the
Which
Patriots.
nobody saw that coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that depleted my entire freaking playoff bracket. But that's a discussion for another time. But back to the Blues. Back to the Blues, though.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, Jake Allen has a confidence issue, and he was able to work through that because of Brodeur last year. This year, it's not happening. He's letting up a lot of soft goals. He's getting beat glove side. He's getting beat over the shoulder. He's getting beat stick side. And then Carter Hutton has been on fire, but then when he goes cold, he goes cold.
Yeah.
So much to the point where you just, it's like so many things are happening with this team that's going wrong. You just can't pinpoint one particular thing at this point in time. But the one thing that seems to remain consistent that's going to happen, we're going to miss the playoffs.
If we keep playing on the rate that we're playing, we're
currently sitting 1 point as before today. We're 1 point out of a wild card spot. That should not happen.
No.
We were just in the second wild card spot. I mean, you got Hutton almost half the games played of Jake Allen. Okay, Jake Allen has 43 games played. Hutton has 27. Hutton is 15-6 when you got Jake Allen over here at 19-19. Goals allowed. Jake Allen's allowed 113 goals, and then Carter's only allowed 42. But it's just the performance and how they're playing. You got to look at some of Allen's games though. He did not get any offensive scoring when he was playing. They might have let up 1 or 2, but they were winning by 1 or 2, and the Blues weren't scoring.
He probably had 40. One of the type deals. He had 40, 45 shots and let up 2 or 3.
They have this,
this
whole defensive strategy where they're just like, oh, we're up by 1 or 2 goals, and we're just gonna kind of sit back a little bit.
They don't show up in the third period.
Yeah, they don't. They play 40 minutes of hockey.
It.
They play 40 minutes of hockey at the most. They never play a full 60.
No.
I don't understand it.
I mean, at the beginning of the year, we had all of our defensemen scoring goals.
Yeah.
We were doing stuff that we haven't done before. I mean, like I said, with the addition of Shen, you got him coming in. He has the same amount of goals as Tarasenko.
Which, in all honesty, that was the greatest trade I think we've made in years.
David Chen. We pretty much robbed him, didn't we?
We gave him, who we gave him?
Yuri Laterra.
Yeah.
I don't
we
even think
gave
he's
him
played yet. I think
he's like a late round pick or something.
it was a first round. It was a first round and a fourth round
Yes.
plus Yuri Laterra for Braden Shen straight up. And we robbed them blind.
Their fans were livid.
Yeah.
And they have every right to.
Not
And they have every
not
right to.
first, so
I think Yuri Laterra has actually scored like 4 goals in the entire season. That's
I feel bad for him.
I do feel bad for him.
because
I feel bad for. That's the
Laterra?
only time I feel bad for the city of Philadelphia is when they got Yuri Laterra, because Yuri Laterra is bad. Yuri Laterra is garbage.
Yeah, but no. At first though, when it was the Laterra Cinco line when they first both were.
Oh yeah, they first brought him up.
Yeah.
But the thing was, the only reason
a
he was producing was because he was on the same line as Tarasenko. That's it.
You
You put him
produce
anywhere else on the lineup. You put him anywhere other
Scottie
line.
Pippen anywhere else but Michael Jordan. See what he did.
He probably could have produced.
Oh no, I'm just saying.
Depends
honestly,
on when that happened.
Yeah,
what
depend-
year?
Yeah, when,
my
what year,
argument,
what team, yada yada yada. But the thing was, they put Laterra with Tarasenko. That's the only reason Laterra had so many points, was because he was getting so many helpers from Tarasenko's goals. Mm-hmm. You put him anywhere else on any other line, he would miss open passes. He would miss the open net.
Yeah.
I watched at least a half a dozen times last year where he had a wide open net and he goes right past it.
Yep.
He goes over the top or managed to shoot it right in the goalie, and there's a good 3 or 4 foot gaping hole in the side there. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Lucas, Mom's calling. What's up?
NCAA probe. That's
interesting.
What I'm really kind of hit on, and it's crazy because they're talking about big programs that the coaches have never been, associated. We're talking about Michigan State and Duke. When have you ever heard about Coach K being dirty?
Never.
Like, you've thought about it. Maybe there's a good possibility because he is.
Maybe that's why he did so good. There's a possibility that he's dirty, but I don't think he is.
Where outside the lines was when they started. I think before they brought it up. I think a week prior they actually brought it down, and they said it was looming. That it's outside sources, but like the Patino deal, you knew Patino knew them frat gangbangs were going on with his players, and they were getting according they were getting hookers brought to school, expensive ones, and he didn't know nothing. It was thousands of dollars that they were somebody was paying for.
Hundreds
of thousands of dollars. Yes.
During one of the games today, I was watching. I don't know off the top of my head who were they playing, but the crowd, when this guy was at the free throw line, they were chanting
Cheater.
100,000.
Oh, yeah.
100,000.
You know what? And
it was crazy.
But at the same
I
time,
could not
though,
believe it.
But at the same time, though, who are you as most likely you're a very skilled athlete, come from a broke home or broke home, and living with just mom or dad, and it's a different day and age, and you got a coach or something coming to your house and telling you, hey, we'll take care of you. You're back on your mortgage or your rent or something, and we'll take care of this and this and this. Who in the hell or who in the fuck are we to tell them no?
Exactly.
Do you guys agree on paying?
They need
I think
college players need a stipend. They need each player has enough to where they're not looking for food that night. I mean, and that's if you ever watched the Fab Five before they were all that stuff that they got indicted for.
Apparently they can't hear us again. It's too far away. Honestly, I see. I think it is a bit of a slippery slope when with paying college athletes,
because when some of them top scholarship players, because my wife's little cousin was 2-time All-State linebacker, offensive lineman. Dakota, I'm sorry if I get that wrong. He just signed with Westminster, and he was looking for the future. He's looking to do go into business, but I'm sure he's going to get all the incentives for a full ride scholarship, groceries, full dorm, everything paid for, and it's just and they do that. I played high school baseball with guys that got on places that they were getting groceries, $400 a month from school, and but not every player gets that. They're broke.
And I remember there was a story about a lot of like Pools was getting money when he was in Kansas City.
Yeah. So. It was somebody helping him out because because the university is making millions off these guys, and they're not seeing a dime. At least get it to where they can live comfortably, leading up to where they're going to be millionaires and not having to sit at their dorm, wondering how in the hell they're going to be able to pay, for food at the cafeteria. And that's how some of them are. And I feel bad, but some of these kids, coming out of Michigan State and Duke and Patino, never ever going to be able to coach in college basketball again.
Oh,
and
no way.
The only one I've not seen is ties is Kyle Perry in Kentucky. And that blows my mind. That really does, because he was taught at UMass back in the day being cheater, and I don't know. It's this shit. According to the documentary or the little segment I watch on Outside Lines, it's gonna get messy really really quick, and it's gonna be
it's gonna open up. It's basically gonna open up a lot of
vacant titles. Yeah, a lot of vacant titles,
and it's gonna open up a lot of bad histories. With some programs.
And do you think they'll have ineligible players?
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Is this going to affect the tournaments?
You see what happened to Mizzou whenever
when Snyder
was there, and who was the one that played the big 3-point threat that went to the Lakers? Dude, he was bad. They went to the Final Four, the Elite Eight.
Sleeves?
I don't know, but nonetheless, it was back when we were in middle school. They had to vacate those that they got to the Elite Eight and those banners, Sweet 16 finals.
So they're inactive players. So where does that lead to them after?
After
do they
nothing.
get reinstated,
they
or are they done for?
But it puts a big ass black mark on the university, and no player.
Can they go sign? Can they go sign somewhere else?
They can go to the NBA. That's all. That's fine.
Well, if they're one and done.
I want you to watch it, dude. You ought to watch the Fab Five.
I think I have. I think
and that's what happens. And it's these guys were getting helped out, and Jalen Rose said it perfect. He goes, the guy that was giving us money, he goes, we were broke ass.
F.
Nick. Well, I was going to say him. That's how he said the N-word. So, and he goes, we couldn't even pay for, dinner the next 2 nights. And that guy helped out. And he goes, you need a new pair of sneakers? That's fine. We'll pay for that.
Didn't Randy Moss say he got money when he was going to university?
Randy Moss went to a JUCO, I think.
And was still getting money.
Yeah. And because, no offense, dude, you got to be
They were right
smart.
about him.
You got to be pretty smart to be able to go to a Division I school and, stay there and stuff. I love my sister to death, but she just couldn't test well. There's a reason why my sister didn't go play to a big-time school. That's the only reason why.
Speaking of that, that $100,000 I was talking about earlier, they were tipping. It was the FBI. They heard wiretaps from Sean Miller, and he discussed the $100,000 for the payment to Andre Ayton. It signed with Arizona, and when he was at the free throw line today, I was watching it before I came over here. That they caught him on wiretap that he was offering him $100,000 to come sign with Arizona. So
and that's the reason why. That's the reason why Shaq's kid turned down going to.
I just seen where's he gonna go? And
he hasn't said yet. So
maybe you think
he's still up in the air.
I will never bring this man's name up to the table again. But you think
we have
LeVar
to?
knew?
This is.
You think LeVar knew? That's what's going down. Because they actually posted yesterday when Lonzo posted. He goes, everybody knows everybody's getting paid. He goes, just something you just don't talk about, and
right. I saw that.
That's probably.
He's got a point.
And maybe
is that why he pulled his kids out?
Maybe there's a possibility, because his middle son's one of. Apparently, the young son is.
As much as I hate that guy,
I know.
That's
a point.
That's the smartest thing possible, because he ends up getting part of that probe, and then he's blacklisted from basketball team or from possibly going pro, and you lose money that way. Your draft stock starts to plummet.
And everybody thinking that his kids going over and playing overseas was a dumb move.
Well, maybe not now.
Pat, how about you?
All
right, Pat, how about you?
On what?
Mama's calling.
Oh, Mama's calling for me. It's my thing. It's the probe possibly going on with Roman Reigns.
All right.
So the guy is in jail, and he's blowing the whistle on a lot of his clients. And so far, he's produced evidence against Mark Wahlberg. He's produced evidence against. I can't even freaking talk. Evidence against Josh Duhamel. No, there's no drinking involved here. I saw that. I saw that. He was waving.
I was just waving to the audience. I have not looked over my phone. I'm going to go live.
But he's produced evidence against Josh Duhamel. He's produced evidence against Mark Wahlberg. And now he's got the whole thing against Roman. Roman's claiming it's a lie. Roman's saying he's never met the guy once. But he's got the text messages. He's got the voicemails to prove it. Honestly, this is going to be a big hit towards Roman's credibility. And
what do you think that somebody else is going to step in? I'm surprised that Braun hasn't been the complete. That's.
I say
the stuff with him and Alexa Bliss was pretty cute though. Like that little tiny, dude. Alexa Bliss is like. There's a whole bunch
of
this is
women in WWE. I feel bad.
She reminds me of a girl I went to high school with. Like,
okay.
I feel bad doing this wrestling stuff because Jordan has yet to watch wrestling in a while.
No, Jordan used to watch wrestling.
Used to be a diehard.
Yeah.
Used to be.
He's out of the game. He's out of the game.
7-10 years ago, he got out.
I'm slowly getting back into it.
He's getting back into it. So the whole. But I think.
You think it will blow the whistle on any other top guys?
Honestly, yeah. I think.
Watch me, Kevin Owens.
Don't you dare say anything bad about KO.
Kevin Owens is like built like Pat, just a little bit muscular, and he's one of the best guys WWE has. Yeah. It's funny as hell because it's not this big muscle bound like he beat your ass.
And the thing is, here's the thing about too.
He went up against Lesnar. It was pretty fun.
And the thing about Owens too is that he doesn't wrestle for someone his size either. He's like 265, but he can move better than most cruiserweights do.
Yeah.
He can move better than most cruiserweights. Yeah. One of my favorite, and this is probably me sounding like I'm riding his fucking nuts, but at the same time, it's the truth. He could go from standing at the middle rope and then leap up and do a moonsault and spin around and do the moonsault all at the same time. He's agile. I think he's one of the most agile guys on the whole roster.
He's only like 3 or 4 years older than we are.
Yeah,
I believe. Right? Like 34,
who was this again?
Kevin Owens. His name is Kevin Steen, and it's Kevin Owens in WWE. But it's like you'll notice him. He always wears cut off. I mean, he doesn't have jacked arms or nothing. But he's not a small.
He wears anything. He wears a singlet underneath his shirt too.
He's got a fucking gut.
Yeah.
But it's not like a big old. It's totally different. But they made it still keep like his whole stigma and persona in like the indies where you would watch in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, or like some podunk town in Illinois. Like this dude kicked ass. It was like they kept it rolling, and I'll give Triple H none of that. Like well, even though like he harped on Cassius about that, but it's dude. I will have to leave on this. Pat, I appreciate this. This was cool. Jordan, I'm glad you got to hang out and banter for a while. And Derek, you asshole, we're gonna fuck with you next week. And shout out to Kyle Hollerby. So you're the inspiration in this, man. You got my ass actually moving and want to do this. And I don't know if you guys believe in God, but I'm glad I met you, Pat. So thank God. Man.
All right, I think that's going to do it for the first episode of the Sandlot Crew. Boys,
Fellas?
catch y'all next week. Same time, same place.
Tim Fortune.
Yes, sir.